Alright, so this video is going to be on overnight inventory, how you can use it, how you can use overnight VP to trade RTH, which is not very common. Some people even discard it completely. So I'll explain that, and I'll explain how you can use overnight inventory for a bias or possibility, just like extra context into your trading. Alright, so let me get my little drawing thing out and explain the concept. Alright, so overnight inventory, what it is. So once cash closes, right, price does whatever, overnight we're going to have overnight traders, obviously. Positions opening overnight after hours. Okay, and normally there's a direction to this, or it's a range. Now, I'll explain how people use this into the trading. If overnight is they open, but overnight for some reason there's just a lot of buying. Maybe someone needs to fill a lot of longs for the next day, algos, whatever. There's a lot of buying all of overnight till we get to RTH. Maybe you have a little dip, right, and RTH opens. Essentially, this is called the overnight, overnight, and then RTH open, right, 9:30. These positions that are being opened and held overnight are essentially 100% net long here. Okay, so the way you can use this for your bias is whenever we're on 100% net long here, you're either going to see a continuation of this and have a trend day, all right, where price mainly, maybe they go here, but overnight traders are strong, they hold price, or their hands are weak and we just run through overnight and take out the low, right? If we failed to take the low out and overnight was 100% net long, odds are we're bullish after that. Okay, very simple concept. So overnight 100% net long, expect either a dip and just dumping into it, or we hold it and we continue higher and take out the overnight high, right? Normally we won't take both of these out. Sometimes we might take the low and then reverse whatever after taking out all overnight traders, right? There's also overnight, let's do overnight is 100% net short. Overnight net short 100, right? RTH is going to open. We're either going to find resistance or we're going to run through these guys to overnight highs, right? Very simple concept. And now there's another possibility, which is overnight just ranging, which kind of sucks, but you can still use it for like a level normally. So overnight, oh, I don't like that. Overnight, and let's say we opened up here, we ranged, and then we broke, and then we ranged, and then came up for the rest of the session. Here, I wouldn't really like it, but you could say overnight is net long, and you could treat it like that even though we ranged for this, for the start. But that's you can use that, right? But if it's something where it's just like this overnight, and then RTH opens, here you're you want to see us either respect this or respect overnight's balance, or overnight would probably look something like this for RTH open. We're not net long or short, but we could have like an LVN to see us test, and maybe we accept higher, right, to overnight highs, or we fail it, or we just open and take overnight lows, maybe have a failed auction. A lot of possibilities. It's important to look at it, right? A lot of people discard this. I don't think you should, right? So here we have our cash close, and then overnight open, and then RTH open right here. So what does overnight do? This is like one of the examples. We range, we come down, and then we go up. All right, so you could say we're net long, but we didn't just go up straight. We kind of came down and rejected and then started getting in long. So we want to see, are these guys going to hold? Now, one thing we can point out, whenever I have something where it's not just one trend and you can see it's a double distribution, I like to look at the LVN as my first level, which is what we opened on, and we also referred to it after that. And then obviously you want to be looking at the shelf and see if we ultimately accept into this balance right here. You want to see if we accept into that. So I can mark that out, and we'll go to the order flow chart really quick. Let me do this balance. Okay, and let's see what that looked like. So let's go to this RTH open. All right. Okay, so here RTH opens, we come down to this LVN, reject, right? We come down again, bunch of sellers, buyers come in, we reject. We come down into the balance again, bunch of sellers, buyers get in, then again, bunch of selling, buyers get in, and then we take this high, right? If you're, I don't know, a trend line trader, break of the trend line, I mean, there's a bunch of things you can correlate that with. Either way, now we're looking bullish. We're clearly not accepting lower. And we come test it again, and we reject. So, and we end up going for a lot of the day after that. Yeah, we end up going for a lot. And then we find some resistance and come back. It's better to use it in the first couple hours. But that's not an example of like a trend. That's a normal example of just using LVN and balances to see if we reject or accept lower, to kind of give bias in a way. Now let me try to find a example of overnight being 100% long or short. I went a couple days to the right, but this is a example I just wanted to go over. This is a hard, just overnight, straight up balance profile, like perfect balance here. Okay, so we opened at the bottom of the balance, obviously. So your bottom of the balance, you could be looking at, I'd say, something like this as the bottom, right? This low, you want to be looking at the low, and you want to be looking like maybe that, all right? Kind of large, but overnight RTH opens on the low of the balance. We reject to the point of control, so you could have caught bids off of that. Then we run through this balance, come back and test it, reject it, come again, test it, reject it, then we run through it again, retest it, and go up, accepting higher again. You could have easily caught, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 trades off of that. Let me just show you what that would look like. So RTH opens again, sellers, buyers come in. Here buyers trapped. Again, we break it, we tap it, right? Nothing crazy. Come again, a bunch of buying into this, sellers come in. You could probably be scalping this easily. Again, bunch of buying. We end up reaching above, right? So now we want to see if we run through this or we reject, and it looks very bullish, right? So here we end up rejecting, and you could have probably gotten longs targeting, I don't know, high, point of control, whatever it is, and then we came back pretty close, right? But you can see how overnight balance was pretty good for this, but that's just a straight up balance. I still haven't I'm gonna find a good example to show overnight inventory. Normally you can tell by the profile shape when it's a good example. Literally like 2 days after, or I think the day after that, same thing, overnight balance. We opened on the lows, right? We opened in the middle, but then we tested the lows, we rejected, and then came to the point of control. We came back, kind of just chopped at the lows and ended up breaking. If we chop at the lows like this in AMT, normally that means we're probably going to end up breaking this balance down here, right? So once you see some strong form of order flow, it's good to get in short. Since we have so much examples of these balance trades, I'm just going to run through it really quick because it's really nice to see. Let me just mark out the balance really quick. I swear I'll get to the actual point of the video soon. But yeah, I'd say this is the edge of the balance. Let me make sure we open right there. Okay, so RTH opens, we run down, take this overnight low, then again sellers, buyers come in, we come up. Now we're kind of accepting, sellers come in, sellers again. Very quick push right here. We run through, push, tap that. So now here I'd be kind of short biased because we've kind of ranged up here. We had a little push down, pop back up, push down again, pop, rejection. So I'd be biased. I'd be looking for shorts right now, but I'd be very cautious just because this price action's not too hot. And there's 10 a.m. news, which is what this pop is. Right, so you're waiting, we're ranging, and then here we break again. Buyers come in, they fail, we break, and there's your fallout. Really good example. You can see how beneficial you could build a strategy on this, right? So yeah, now I swear I'm not going to show another balanced example. I'll go to a normal example now. Okay, perfect. I haven't even looked at the RTH open yet. I was just scrolling through my chart like this, and I saw a perfect example of overnight being 100% net short. You can normally tell by the profile being a P or B, or it just being like fucking 5 distributions, right? We're 100% net short. We also, to be added, we're opening at sort of the extreme of this double distribution towards these lows. We're opening there, right? We almost took them out. Well, we did, right? So RTH, I'd be looking obviously to test this, right? These overnight hands, you want to see them being tested. So you could be looking at, I don't know, maybe line it up. What the hell is that? Line it up with an LVN, right? To see if we accept higher or above the LVNs. I'd probably line it up. I'd probably try to line it up with these prior LVNs. So yeah, I'd be looking at this point and seeing if we accept higher into this kind of distribution or just continue chopping here. Okay, so RTH opens again really low here. We have these LVNs we're looking at, right? And first off, run through it, just instant run, took these lows, bottom of distribution. These hands over here for these highs didn't bother protecting at all. We still have these highs up here and overnight highs to take, right? Overnight lows, I mean, yeah, they were taken, but like seconds after RTH open. Run through this. Now you want to be watching here. Run through again. This is obvious that we're just going to be trending till I'd be targeting overnight highs or something around there. And yep, we end up hitting them. But this is, I'd say, a perfect example. This first one I found. I don't want you guys to think it's cherry picked. Nothing's gonna be this perfect. This is like the best example I've seen for overnight inventory. But you can see us, really you want to be using like LVNs as a form of acceptance. So here we've accepted above it. So now you're looking like, okay, I think we're bullish based off of that. Then we had this balance, right, in this LVN right here. We started to reject it, right, getting a little choppy. We had this balance right here, short-term balance. We're kind of chopping in the middle of there. We dip into the balance and instantly reject it. So we want to be bidding up to this at least, or this point of control of overnight. You can see those were really nice targets. And let's take a look at the order flow once we found some resistance, because you're not just going to instantly enter long once this overnight's flipped, right? Right now I'm going to be going into more of technicals and trading this. If you've understood the concept, you don't need me to yap about it more. Just skip the video. Like, I mean, it's going to be bad for my channel, but as long as you understand it, I'm just going to be going into technicals and probably more in depth on it, which will be helpful. But if you don't have that time span, I don't care if you watch or not. But here you can see, right, aggressive buying into these highs. Maybe they tried to absorb some of these buyers. Didn't work out for them. Fucked, right? Anyone short here, fucked. All of them just buying it back up, right? Come here, we find some buyers, aggressive selling come in. Here, we have our test of these lows. Aggressive sellers came in, right? And then buyers came in on this candle right here. Right after this low was put in, this candle had the first form of aggressive buyers. And the rest after that were buying this up. And then, yeah, we just flipped to the upside, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna go to another example of this. I think I've shown enough balance examples. You should be able to tell how simple you can trade balances. Like here we have the balance extreme, right? But we also have this LVN of the balance, right? And I'd like to trade around the LVNs in these extremes. So you'd be watching that high, and I think this would be a good level. And you can see that goes bid. I'm not going to go to another example. And then you can see this LVN right here, tested, right, rejected, and then we tap into the extreme again, trade under. I'm telling you guys, trading overnight's TP or volume profile combined with order flow, I don't know, other levels, it's really good. I like it a lot. That's not my full strategy. I like to reference it, but if you're not using it, definitely look into it. If you like it, perfect. Okay, so here I was wondering why these profiles became so spiky and everything was going crazy. Overnight shouldn't have this much volume. And it's because this was when Trump was fucking us all in the ass. So I'm going to skip through this. I don't think it's realistic examples. But even on this, like you can see, obviously we were net short, but then we clearly rejected something. So overnight hands, you would want us to accept above. You would first be looking at these highs, right? This extreme. You can see we clearly rejected that with ease. Instantly took overnight lows. Yeah, I'm gonna skip through the Trump having a huge fuck party for a couple of weeks. Alright, so I skipped that. And I finally came to a day where most of these days are really, I mean, this day even, yeah, we come down and now we're overnight long for the rest of this session. So you want to see us ideally start to take out some of these lows and accept this balance to then target overnight lows. What we essentially did, we rejected overnight's balance highs, right? The balance ledge up here came back, right? So here we're overnight and long. I'd say it's pretty shit, but you can say on average, most of the traders here, like 80-70%, are net long, right? It's not just a straight rally, but we come down, come up. These guys come in, seems like we've accepted. We're looking for these lows to be taken so we can start to puke out of positions. We range. We break out, and once we break out, you want to see us obviously reject, if anything, reject these highs, or if anything, reject this, which is the main priority to be looking at. I don't really like this kind of ledge right here, but there is a ledge. Like, I'd say I'd include, I always like to include the highs and do it really on the hard and extreme. But here there's these highs right here, so you could do this, right? But I normally keep it tight. So yeah, RTH opens on it, and we have a couple bounces in between this very extreme level and this one right here. You can see, I'll go to the order flow chart after, but right, you have those two references, and you're already biased. You're short, right? You want to be getting in short to these lows, or you want to see one of them get taken out to then look for shorts. What we end up seeing is, right, we do our little fuckery, scalp that, come down, we break out of the balance. Now you want to see this hold. We end up chopping there, fucking around, and then we break back into this. So you want to see these players right here that were overnight long get fucked. They think, oh, we held our positions, right? They were strong. They held sellers here. We came up, right? Now, if we take these guys out, we're going to be very short, right? Very short biased. We ended up taking most of them out right here. These three lows, we ended up flushing through all of these lows right here. But we still had these lows right here. That started everything. I'd say a large amount of players got in here. Well, players, I mean large amount of orders, right? So we come in, right? We break. Maybe you get stopped out here, right? On this, right? You think it's rejecting. You maybe get stopped out there. We'll go to the order flow chart to see what happens, right? I'm kind of just walking through in depth, and we'll have one more example. Video's done. You can go jerk off, right? I'm not trying to keep you here all day. But I think 30 minutes for an in-depth video that's going to give you value and answer more questions as the video goes on is better than some fucking high edited guru video, ultimate 80% win rate. Fuck off. Like, suck my balls. It's bullshit. Like, they just want your attention. They want revenue or ad revenue. It's bullshit. So, again, a little off track. We take out these lows. We're ultimately targeting overnight lows, right? But once we take these lows, we, again, tap into this. The extreme LVN of all of overnight was this, right? But you can say this zone, which is the shelf or ledge of this balance, and also the LVN and ledge of this kind of second distribution, it's a very good level. And I mean, you can just see how it looks. These levels, you could say I'm cherry picking. What other level from this profile would you pick? Obviously, there's the level down here, right? You know what? Yeah, let's mark that out. It doesn't get hit, but it's a good level. And that's it. No other level from this profile. I've literally marked out every level from overnight session, and watch how you can just gauge the order flow from this. So we accept, right? We come down. We're targeting overnight lows. We accept into the balance. So now I want to be getting shorts. I want overnight lows to be taken to finish this puke, you can call it, or finish this rally. So you're short biased, right? So levels to go short at, you have this level and you have this level. Maybe we bid this really high and come up to here. Ultimately, you could get short here, here, or here. I think most of you guys would be break even if you got in on these two. Maybe you get stopped, but you really like this short. Maybe you get in long here, see some good order flow, right? There's so much trading opportunities, and this is all before 11. But yeah, ultimately we take this. Maybe your stop's placed somewhere safe or just at the high. You get edged, or maybe you actually get stopped out. I don't know, right? Maybe you break your monitor because it's stopped you by a tick. Whatever. We take that. You get in short, and look what happens. So maybe you get scared here. We reject that. You add into your position. We take overnight lows. Really nice. And then to finish that off, we edge our level for continuation. Oh shit. I'm gonna really quick, you know what? You don't need to see the order flow for that. It's been a long video. Let's go to the next example. This example, similar to the other one, but it's like 70-80% net short like the other one. Buying, and then from there, we just had this drive, and then from there we just kept going down. Maybe we took these highs, which isn't ideal, but we kept going down. Ultimately, we came down. Now, whenever we open really low, right, we're going to be rejecting something or looking at something, and I always like LVNs and shelves as a rejection. So you could be looking at this LVN and these two shelves kind of combined, right, as a level, or you could be looking at solely the LVN, or you could be looking at these highs. I would probably be more so inclined to the LVN and the highs because it's major support and resistance, and it's been major support and resistance, right? So you're inclined to use that. We open up there, right? Instantly you're saying to yourself, I want to go long. I want to see an acceptance into this balance, which the balance should be around this. I want to see an acceptance into this balance, and then us to start to scale up to these highs and take out all the players who are short. We open on this, instantly reject it, come here, reject it, little push, maybe you get stopped, whatever. If you miss this, you're fucked. If you didn't miss this, that's good for you. Then we break up into this balance. Obviously, we take this high out, and we also begin to reject from this LVN right here, right? But that doesn't concern you because you have this level. And again, remember, if you watched my AMT video, we accept into a balance. If you get no retrace on the start, look for shorts on the top of the balance. Maybe you would be scared to enter short, but if the order flow's there, you can short it. But then we come back for our retrace, bottom of the balance, treat it like a balanced trade. We come back up and we're breaking to new highs. And just to see how the rest of the day goes on, seems like we've accepted this balance and we've held this level pretty well. This sort of LVN kind of fades away, but you still see some taps from this LVN every once in a while. I would probably refrain from using it after it gets some weak taps like around here and we just range in it. This is probably when I'd be like, okay, this level's shit, right? We've had some good taps, whatever. But yeah, if this retest, your ultimate target would be overnight highs. We do end up ranging for a while, but towards the end of PM session, we do take out this, but this isn't a really crazy example, to be honest, but it is good. It is good. And the way I would trade this, I normally trade for like the first hour. I'm not on the charts a lot. I would mark out this level. I would mark out this LVN. And I would also mark out, I mean, this is a pretty shit shelf, but I'd try to narrow it down to probably something like this, I'd say. I'd want to try to include this. It's just a really shitty shelf, to be honest. So I'd probably do something like this. Not trying to have any bias towards it, but this is probably what I'd use, right? And you can see that's held. But let's go to the order flow for. I'll do one more example for you guys. So yeah, we open, we reject it, lots of buyers coming in, right? Buyers coming in, and then extreme amount of selling comes here. Okay, we come back, some buyers, more buyers come in here. Sellers come in, they don't do anything. We take this high with a lot of buying pressure, and instantly sellers come in. Then we come back, we test this. I think that's 10 a.m. news again. Nonetheless, buyers come in. And we run through this. Now we're testing the ultimate high of this. And you want to be seeing, ideally if this is a trend day, you want to see us take these highs. So you want to be seeing look above and trade for longs, or rejection and look for a retrace for longs, probably hopefully at this ledge, right? So we're coming, and this, I would probably get in shorts here to like this past area where we had a large order, or this zone down here like this, right? We come down to the zone right here, we reject this, we reject that once, but ultimately we accept lower into this zone. All right, so clearly we're not just going to be trending. If you're reading this, you would want to see us just rip through this high and finally take overnight highs. That doesn't happen. We instead reject this ledge and accept lower into this balance. We get close to our little retrace. Maybe you get in short here. We come down to this main level where we had our first tap and break. And again, sellers come in, reject. And we're off again. We're off into this balance again. We reject the balance, right? If you watched my AMT video, again, no retrace, trade the top of the balance for little retrace. And then we come back into here. You have opportunities to get in long to these highs, and then it's just a range here. You would have gotten chopped out for sure. Some shorts, some shorts, some shorts, shorts. I would stop using this level after this bullshit happens. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep going over the same example. Pretty nice trade. Or trading day. Let's do that. All right, so let's keep going. This is a nice trend day. Okay, here we go. Crazy trend day here. Last example. You want to see us either hold or accept into higher. As soon as market opens, again, like that other example we showed you, you want to see this ledge, right? This is almost identical to the other example. 930 opens on it, we reject. We retrace, we reject. Clearly they're holding their position. However, watch. This level, We accept above it. Now we also have this level right here too to be watching. Okay. So we're rejecting. You get in short, right? You catch some points. We come up, we reject, we accept. You go in longs, right? We're accepting into the balance. Target these highs, right? You get in, target, right? Now we break these highs, and now we could see a sweep of overnight highs because we were net short, right? And if we're not holding this, we could see us traverse this LVN to at least this balance, right? This balance is your first target, right? Because what are you going to target in this LVN? Here you would have gotten probably chopped, right? It's really shitty whenever we just chop at areas like this, but it does happen every other time, every other once in a while, so it's pretty shit. But this chop, sometimes, if it's big enough, which here it was, let's say the top of the chop would be like something like this, we do end up breaking it, testing it, and continuing higher. This would be your sign that we are definitely going to target this now. And oh, shit, this is what the day would have looked like. That's one of your levels. It's another one of the levels. And your target is up here. It's your target. No other levels until that. Maybe if you're gay, I'm joking. Maybe if you're using, I don't know, prior days shelf or whatever, ledge, whatever you want to call it, you get in short right here. But if you're targeting this, I wouldn't try to get short there unless the order flow was amazing and fucking huge offload comes there. But we come back to this little level where we had to retap right here. We come back, nice little push, come back again, nice little push. Now let's go look at the order flow here really quick. Fuck. Alright, so here, I'm pretty sure this is news. Maybe not. I guess just a spike in buying. Probably no entry there, to be honest. Here, really nice. Aggressive selling into this. Maybe you get stopped here. But then we come back into it. Little push again. And you get a re-entry. Normally, I only enter twice at a level, because it's likely you get stopped and then a little exhaustive move and we run up, right? But if a level gets hit twice and I get stopped on both, normally I wait for a different level, because we could just tap it, it looks like we're rejecting lower, but we end up doing some bullshit chop. So just 2 stops a level, I recommend that. Yeah, and then we just push off of this. By then you'd think we're just in this balance, but you still have that ultimate target of these 2 highs, obviously. But your ultimate target is this right here, overnight's balance, upper balance. If anything, I would really prefer to target like the overnight high of where this sell-off started. And if you did, I mean, lucky you. You even have a re-entry off of that. I mean, how fucking lucky can you get? But yeah, that's overnight inventory. A very fucking long video. Holy shit. 40 minutes, fuck's sake. Yeah, that's the whole video. I'm gonna stop it there. Hopefully you've seen how overnight works. I'm gonna try to add timestamps on this or something, because this is fucking insane. I don't know how I've just ranted for 40 minutes, but yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, tell me any suggestions. Again, whenever I'm bored, I just make these videos, or whenever I have free time. Now I have to get back to coding something. So, yeah.